There are times in life you wish you had a do-over. A chance to warp back in time to change your fate. Back to before you made the wrong choice. If you're in a wreck, make the smart choice right away. Frankel and Frankel. Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frankel first.
And it's that time of year again.
Well, come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
That time of year where content is required and news is scarce.
Hey, Bachi.
You can't beat that time of year with a stick. Boy, Bleacher Report and say, all right, Voch, I know you normally just work on Wednesdays here. I know you just normally do Wednesdays, Voch. How about we give you 3 shows a week? I say, all right, cool, Bleacher Report. 3 shows a week. That sounds fantastic. But Voch, we're going to give you 3 shows a week as soon as the Cowboys season is over. I say, damn, we're going to figure it out, though. And when you run into this season, this time of year where you have to come up with things to talk about, sometimes you got to rely on the old faithfuls. Top 5 free agents. Cowboys. Hey, you can. So it's going to be a series that we're going to be doing. And likely, I ain't going to lie to y'all, man, I probably should be saving some of this content for like June and July when it gets really bad. But hey, I'm no quitter. We're going to figure this thing out. And if it pushes into free agency, then we can always pivot and we can run it back again in June and July. But right now, I think it's really important because the conversation that's floating around the Cowboys right now is roster building. And I think this year is going to be one of the biggest roster turnarounds that the Cowboys have gone through recently. And the Cowboys aren't strangers to turning their roster around. The Cowboys do it all the time. But the Cowboys, they normally turn their roster around with a large surge of help from their young guys, their young draft picks, right? So they may not sign a ton of players, but they'll sign a few players and they'll feel cool because, all right, we got Oso Digizul for cheap, or we got, Chauncey Golston playing for us for cheap. Sam Williams is here playing for us for cheap. So we can add in other places where we wouldn't have to add to the D-line. All that sounds good. But the Cowboys are running out of good drafts to lean on. This is another one of these off-season faithfuls that we can always just tap back into and have a good conversation about, right? Like, which one of these drafts is going to be worth talking about. And the 2023 and the 2024 drafts, specifically the 23 draft, those characters have done nothing for you at all. So it's easy to lean on these drafts when you hidden in the draft. And I mean hidden in the draft. It's easy to lean on those. But NIL is a new thing in college. So these drafts may not be as thick as they once were. It may be a little harder to find 3rd and 4th round talent than when it once was. It's definitely hard to find 4th rounders when you keep trading them away. It's definitely hard to find 4th rounders when you give them away for Jonathan Mingo and Trey Lance, training him on the team now. So it gets a little difficult, I think the Cowboys should change their philosophy because right now, especially right now, meaning that we're going to be leaning on the Mozzie Smith draft and the Tyler Guyton draft. 2 first-round picks we got questions about. We have many more questions about the Mozzie, the Mozzie situation. It's been 2 years for him. And if anything, we would just be grateful if Mozzie ended up being just an adequate one tick and not just somebody that we could just count out on Sundays. I think Tyler Guyton has a lot of room to grow, but I think eventually with his athleticism, I think he'll develop in that and he'll be just fine. But we'd be happy if Tyler Guyton was just adequate. See, walking into this thing, and look, I mean, when I say we, I don't mean me. I mean we, like a lot of Cowboy fans were saying that, hey, man, the Cowboys, hit rate at offensive linemen in the first round is typically ironclad. This particular time, we'll kind of fall short a little bit, but that's okay because that's what life is about. Life is about falling short sometimes with drafting Tyler Guyton and Miles Smith and all that. So if you're not going to be able to lean on these drafts, in which I do think Marshawn Nealon, I think Maris Leaf, I think Kalen Carson are going to do something for you. The vast majority of players that's on your roster right now are young players that you probably ain't got a whole bunch of faith in. They here, and you got your stars. You got 488, 1173. You got those guys. Depending on what y'all think about Trey, 26, Deron Blank. So you got guys to build around. That's your core guys. So now the Joneses with 9 draft picks, and they're gonna try to sign a bunch of undrafted free agent guys. You have to fill your entire roster now. Roster turnaround this year is going to be way bigger than what it once was. That's why I'm looking to this series. I'm looking into doing this series where I'm breaking down draft picks, or not just draft picks. I'm looking at free agency for the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to do it by position, or at least by a position of need. And one of that is going to be wide receiver. So I'm going to be looking at that. Jay Money in the chat says, "Have you heard anything about Zach Martin?" So yeah, man, wide receiver is definitely a position of need. So I want to take a look at some wide receiver free agents today, kind of go down that list and just see if it's realistic or not. 9 times out of 10, it is not. But it's all good. Let's get a little share on the screen. Let's run this. Let's do a little something. Let's do a little something. All right, I got Spotrac pulled up. You guys can go to Spotrac to take a look at all of your salary cap needs, all your contract stuff. It'll be here at Spotrac. Okay. Now you got a bunch of I have this filter by wide receivers, by the way. 2025 free agency wide receivers. And look, we're kind of going to go down this list. Maybe not every name, but at least we want to tap in with some names that make a little bit of sense of it. Look, like Cowboy fans, right? Let's just keep it a buck here. I just saw the name. The Dallas Cowboys will probably like spend $80 on Van Jefferson or something. You know what I'm saying? That's something the Cowboys do. They'll spend $38 on Van Jefferson. Be like, hey, y'all, we did it. We did it. Yeah, I mean, they'll bring back Noah Brown or something. Dante Pettis. Y'all remember Dante Pettis was on the team? That's the kind of stuff the Cowboys will do. But I at least want to look at wide receiver at the top of it, at least. Just to kind of get a good feel for what the list is looking like. And Stephon Diggs is at the very top of it. I don't think he's going to be in the conversation at all, being 31 years old. He got hurt last year. I think that'll be another thing that'll kind of keep the Cowboys away from looking at him. But I'm just seeing his previous average per year. The money that he's making there was $22 million. I guess he was making $22 million in Houston. I want to hit this market value button to see what it is. So even though his market, Stephon Diggs' market would be $13.5 million, even though he was making like 22 last year or whatnot. Would this be a move that the Cowboys are like interested in making? Bring him in, they can market him with Trey or something like that, like a 1-year deal or anything like that. Possibly. I can see Stephon wanting to play with his brother or something like that, and maybe he'll sign for cheap with the Cowboys. But I can't lie to you, man. I don't think Stephon Diggs is the Stephon Diggs of old, like that last couple of years of Viking Stephon Diggs or that early Buffalo Stephon Diggs. I don't think he's that guy, but the Cowboys love that. Just like if you jump down and you see DeAndre Nuke Hopkins down there, like it's the same conversation with him, right? Like he's not the same guy, and the Cowboys love it when you're not the same guy because they can typically get you for cheaper. His cash hit right now is 1.8 million. Like they're getting them for nothing. Kansas City's getting them for nothing right now because I think Tennessee's paying most of that. Now, I imagine that depending on what he does here, and I don't even know what he's really been doing in the Super Bowl. Let's look this up. Let's look up DeAndre Hopkins. We ain't gotta look that up. We ain't gotta do all that. Got stats. Let's see. So he's on 533 snaps. He got 56 receptions for 610 yards. That's about what Jalen Tolbert is. You know, I know Nuke is a name, but that's about what Jalen Tolbert is. Cowboys feel like they can get you for cheaper there. Now, here's a realistic conversation we could have about Amari Cooper for real. I learned this recently, just a lot of the stuff coming out. Bobby Bell's been going on the internet talking about it, but Amari Cooper didn't have a great relationship with Mike McCarthy. A lot of guys in the locker room loved Amari Cooper. Now, that won't matter because most of the guys in the locker room that loved Amari Cooper ain't going to be in the locker room no more. It's just roster turnaround. It just is what it is. So, but I wonder how much Dak and CeeDee Lamb loved Amari Cooper. And I still think Amari Cooper is good enough to come here and play a wide receiver 2 type role. And if Mike McCarthy didn't like Amari Cooper, well, perfect. Mike McCarthy's not here anymore. Mike McCarthy is no longer a part of the Dallas Cowboys anymore. So if you want to have a conversation about that, then maybe we can. But these are the older characters I'm looking for. I'm purposely skipping around here. Voch, why are you skipping around? Because T. Higgins is sitting at the top. I think T. Higgins is going to be the prize. You know, like T. Higgins, like all these other guys I've been mentioning, they're like wide receiver 2 for your team. Or they may be like a 3A kind of guy. T. Higgins would be a wide receiver 1B for your Dallas Cowboys. He's 26 years old. He has 5 years in the league. He's very young. And he's looking for a big contract, so much that the Cincinnati Bengals are, kind of bumping heads with him a little bit. Right now, I think he's on a franchise tag making $21 million. I can imagine like once he gets paid, I don't think he'll be in the top highest paid wide receivers of the league. But if I had to imagine, I think T. Higgins is going to want some substantial money. And it might be right around this. I don't think he's going to break the bank or anything like that, but I think it's going to be right around this. It's going to be right at like $21 million a year, $25 million a year. And the Cowboys simply do not have it. They simply do not have it. Now, this will be fun. This will be fun if we can get a guy like T. Higgins. Of course it would. He'll come right in and play wide receiver 2 for you. You won't even have another conversation about what. I can live with the idea that Jalen Tolbert is my wide receiver 3. I can live with Jalen Tolbert, Turpin, and Jalen Brooks fighting for wide receiver 3 if T. Higgins is my wide receiver 2. I'm not a fan of all these wide receivers I got on my roster right now because we look at those guys as wide receiver 2. I'm not here for the Jalen Tolbert got to step up crowd. I'm just not here. Chris Godwin coming off of an injury. He's a little younger. He's 28 going on 29 there. Coming off an injury there, he's probably going to want a little bit of money. It just kind of is what it is. Let me see. Did I even hit market value? So cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got you. T. Higgins market value is probably going to be like right around $25 million. It's going to be like right around $25 million. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to want to party with that at all. What about Chris Godwin though? I can sit on this website and just click around stuff all day. See, Chris Godwin's also going to want some money because he's young. He's young, man. I don't foresee this world where we, look at one of these top guys. I can see these dudes going to a Cleveland type team where they could probably go and be the number 1 guy. Now, I think these 2 receivers, T. Higgins and Chris Godwin, I think they thrive as wide receiver 1B types. I think they thrive as 1B or wide receiver 2 types. I'm not sure if they'll be wide receiver 1. So when they go to these other teams, I don't see them living up to their value. But if they can come to the Cowboys, man, are you kidding me? Please. Tolbert is what he's maybe like a wide receiver 3 at best. I think he'll be a really cool wide receiver 3 at best. But you know how it go. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see some of these other names and see what their market might be. DJ Chark, like a name like DJ Chark would be he'll be perfect for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think his contract might be favorable. He's coming off of a 1 year, $3 million. That's not part of his rookie deal? Yeah, he signed. He signed for 5 and he got 5 guaranteed. So they're projecting his contract. Okay, so his contract with the Chargers was like $3 million, something like that. See, the Cowboys love DJ Chark, just a big body, big size kind of guy. I think the Cowboys want to scroll way down this list. See, fans want to be up here in the list, but the Cowboys are definitely shopping way down. Mando says we're not getting anyone. I do agree we're not getting anyone that you'll be excited about. Like nobody up here for sure. But that's why I opened up the show the way I did. The Cowboys have to fill the roster somehow. They have to fill the roster somehow. So even if it's like Cody White or something, the Cowboys still got to sign bodies. They'll bring in Cody White or Lil Jordan Humphrey or something. They'll bring these guys in, pay them $38 a year, and be like, all right, you're going to come in and compete for wide receiver time. But that ain't real. That ain't real. We've seen like Dante Pettis, like we've seen like Jay, like they'll love Stephen Jones will love to sign Jalen Reagor for $38. They'll love to sign Juju Smith for $38. Man, please, Cowboy, man. I work in the Cowboys building right now. If I find out that they don't draft wide receiver because they got Jonathan Mingo, they might have to call security on me. They might have to call security on me, dog. Like for real. And look, they're gonna be excited too. Oh yeah, if we had to play a game today, we got the roster to do it. River Craycraft is gonna line up and play some snaps for us. You know Stephen Jones, man. You know Stephen Jones. And I'm like, bro, who the is River Craycraft? I don't even heard of him. Never even heard of him. I think Amari would be great. I would love to see Amari Cooper here. Mike McCarthy's gone. I heard that Amari didn't get along with Mike McCarthy. Apparently, River Craycraft made $4 million in this league over 6 years. I don't want no receiver that only made $4 million over 6 years, but the Cowboys will love something like this. The Cowboys will love something like this. He was with the Dolphins. Never heard of him. That's what Wayne said. Who is that? I never heard of him. You say Cooper would be expensive? Yeah, Cooper might want like, I think his market is like 14. I think I looked that up. Amari Cooper's market is like, $14.2 million. That'll be his market. He finishes like wide receiver 24, the 155th overall player. So Spotrac has him and his value at a 2-year, $28 million contract. I wonder if Amari Cooper can get that cheaper from somewhere. I would love it if Schottenheimer would, lobby for Amari Cooper, but that dude made it happen over here. That dude, Amari Cooper made babies in Dallas. Amari Cooper made babies out here, bro. I love to have him back, and he still get busy. We just got to know who Amari Cooper. Like at the time, Amari Cooper was your wide receiver 1, while CeeDee Lamb was a baby, and Gallup was your wide receiver 2. That was the problem, right? And CeeDee Lamb, Cooper would kind of disappear in some of these games. He'll disappear in some of these road games or some of these big games. Let me tell you something. The roles are reversed now. I would love it if Amari Cooper was a wide receiver 2 behind CeeDee Lamb now. That's where your money's at. That put the nipple on the titty. That's how you get things done. Come in and let CeeDee Lamb, take the bulk of the coverage. Because even when Cooper was in Cleveland, he was taking on the bulk of the coverage. He couldn't produce with Josh Allen. He got hurt. But Cooper get hurt. We know we get it with Amari Cooper. So if you get Amari Cooper for cheap, not expensive, but cheap, and let him deal with these one-on-one coverages while CeeDee Lamb's taking on the doubles, hopefully we can run the damn football if Ashton Genty's available, or Omarion Hampton, or Caleb Johnson are available, RJ Harvey, anybody like that. And just let Amari Cooper route up one-on-ones, man, please. Regardless of who we sign, City is number one. And that's the beauty in all this. That's the beauty in all this. We're really looking for wide receiver. We have a superstar at wide receiver. And the dudes that we have on the team are absolute scrubs. I'm sorry. The The rest of them just happen to be scrubs. All I need is complementary players that's in the middle, and we'll be just fine. Complementary players, role players that's in the middle. Of course, I would love to have a T. Higgins, man, but I know how Stephen Jones get down. Whatever the middle is between CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert, because Brandon Cook's gone. Whatever that middle is, what that clap was bitch made. There we go. Sign him up as wide receiver 2 and we can go boogie. All right. Any question before I get up out of here? We have one good receiver. He's a superstar, CD, and everybody else is trash pretty much. What else? Y'all go on my YouTube and check out my Senior Bowl coverage. We're having a good time over there. Top of the morning team. All right. Hey, love y'all so much. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to Bleacher Report. Y'all make sure that you tell a friend to download the Bleacher Report app. I'm sure you've downloaded it already because you're watching right now. And hey, follow the Cowboy tab, the NFL tab, and the NFL draft tab. And be sure to follow Voch Lombardi, and you'll get notifications allegedly, or you'll get something every time I go live. If you hit follow, you'll keep up with my work there. You didn't give up a 4 for Mingo just for him to be number 4. Pride-wise, Dallas will sign somebody like Hunter Renfrow and Mingo as number 2. Here's the flaw in the logic. I understand what you're saying. Theoretically, you are correct. You didn't give up a 4 for Mingo just for him to be wide receiver number 4. You gave up a 4 for Trey Lance, and he only played 1 game at the end of the season while Dak Prescott had been hurt for 7 weeks. When it comes to Jerry Jones, you don't know who you f***ing with. You spent the 4. Mingo might not even be on this team next year. We'll be lucky to see Mingo get preseason snaps on this team. Them picks is what Jerry Jones says. Appreciate your comment, though. Y'all hold down for the dope squads and peace, whiskey, man. Until next time, y'all catch me on YouTube at Voch Lombardi, spelled just like that. Salute.